Hello and welcome to the show where I subject myself to the absolute pain that is combing through y- seasonals. And this time, fall 2020, got a lineup that is nonetheless impressive compared to what I experienced in summer 2020. Of course, summer 2020, a really underwhelming season. Not a lot to love there. I don't really have high hopes for this season either, but there are a lot more shows that I had past my initial screening for more than a single episode, and gotta give it props for that at least. So might as well start. Yeah, first up on the block, I'm standing on 1 Million Lives. This is a isekai, big surprise. Never heard of that genre before. Where dude's teleported from his school, got two girls with him. They're pretty much useless. He's useless. Uh, this kind of sounds a lot like Konosuba, but it's not. It's got a quote unquote darker tone, if you could say that. I mean, the only reason I continued watching this is because I thought like maybe it was interesting at some points and could get better. It did to an extent, and I actually completed the full episode, so kudos to that. If you know me at all, you know that I'm not a guy who usually completes the first episode if it's terrible and I don't want to watch it anymore. Character designs are fine. I really like the blonde female's character design, the witch, pretty good. Uh, so far, I liked it. I mean, it's average stuff. I'm not gonna say that it was per se good. I'll say it's good for uh what it strives to compete against, I should say. Uh, you know, there's a bit of CGI that's too jarring for my taste, but I'm sure it's not a big deal. And that's about it for this show. I'll give it maybe like one or two more episodes, maybe. Assault Lily Bouquet is a Shaft show, and I have not seen a Shaft show in a while. The last Shaft show I watched was Sangatsu no Lion, and I gave that a 10 out of 10 to both seasons. So high hopes for Shaft here, except that the director is not Akiyuki Shinbo, and if it's not Akiyuki Shinbo, it's probably going to be Big Poo Poo. And that's exactly what this was. In the first, like, let me explain what this show is. It's basically a high school show, big whoop, with cute girls, another big whoop. The girls aren't even that cute per se. Like their designs are super generic. I could basically get them at any convenience store if I wanted to, off the shelf. And you know, gotta give them props. The animation looks fine. The first initial opening sequence looks well animated and you know feels like it had at least a bit of love to it. But it's just not good when the characters start talking. When the characters start talking, the show becomes a lot more unbearable, unfortunately. Especially the main girl. The main girl's voice, not really my cup of tea. It's a bit too high pitched and tends to be annoying. So no good on that. I think I left maybe some details. Oh yeah, 5 minutes into the show, there's a boring thigh shot introduction and a boring character dump after that. So what I mean by character dump is, of course, character after character, they just give like a image of the character they're trying to introduce and like talk over it, and it's just boring for like 5 minutes. Don't recommend that one whatsoever. Here's my current top pick of the season, though. Out of everything I watched this entire season, for its first episode, so far it's the best I saw. The Journey of Elena, super cool magical girl show. I mean magical girl, not like Madoka Magic. No, it's not like your typical magical. It's like a witch show, and it's like more on the lines of Little Witch Academia, but a little bit more serious in tone, which I like. Character designs are good. I don't think that Um, I mean, the character designs before she puts on the witch costume is good. You got a pretty cool lineup here of Kana Hanazawa, voice actor for this show, always a good sign. I think she's my favorite person in the entire industry, especially because of her voice acting work being so impeccable. But this show is pretty much about this girl training to be a witch in the first episode. And to that extent, it was really entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, the animation, the color work, the characters being voiced by these passionate voice actors, right? Really good stuff. I'm surprised it's not that popular, but when you find a gem like this, usually it's not going to be popular. So I think I would highly recommend at least the first episode of this. It's by the studio that made Hitori Bochi. If you're interested, I think it'll probably turn out pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. Prediction. Uh, Next, this is my first time ever consuming an episode of Love Live. I made it through the entire episode just so I could say I completed an episode of Love Live. And I gotta say, I don't like Love Live. That's not a big surprise, but it's Love Live. The entire episode is spent like walking around and listening to idols sing, which is like fine if you're into that. I don't really get the appeal per se, but I can understand why people might be appealed. The CGI dances are, it's CGI, but it's done to an extent that tries to make it look like 2D, but it's not. Characters are bland. I think the main girl has a nice character design, and by main girl I mean I forgot her name. It's the one with the green at the bottom of her twin tails, but it doesn't really matter. Uh, Most of the characters are just one-offs and pretty ugly, especially the one with the freckles. I think it's just ugly to look at. Artwork is pretty bland and too bright for my taste. I mean, it's not like they oversaturated the colors. It's just like I feel like they're trying too hard to make everything look bright and appealing to the eye. So yeah, that's my first experience with Love Live. Gotta say, not really interested. I think this is an alternative version of Love Live too. I don't think this is the main version. I have no clue. The Love Live universe, it's probably more confusing than the Fate one at this point. Next, this show is called With a Dog and a Cat, Every Day is Fun. This is, let me see. This is a 1 minute short, and I watched one episode. Could you believe it? I watched 1 minute of it, and it was not funny, that's for sure. It was trying to be funny. The anime, it's not even like an anime per se. I mean, it's anime, but it's like I think you know what I mean. It's a 1 minute episode. I think you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying the quality level isn't at the point I'd like it to be, so I can continue. It's not worth my time. It's not worth your time. Um, but it exists. Let's just say that it does exist. Uh, and that's about it. That's all I can say. I didn't really know. Actually, I didn't know Kana Hanazawa voiced the cat, but I don't think it matters. Honestly, it's not groundbreaking for her career, unfortunately. Uh, so that's gonna be a dud. Uh, Next, Dragon Quest. I actually like the first episode. It reminds me a lot of well, I mean, if you're not familiar with the Dragon Quest universe, I'm not either. I didn't play the games at all. I have no clue what I was gonna expect when I watched this, but I actually really liked it. Basically, it's like Pokemon, but with like different kinds of monsters instead. It's like yeah, that's a perfect description. It's Pokemon. And to that extent, I felt really an appeal, sort of like a childish appeal to this show. And as you can see, I completed the first episode, and it was good. It reminded me of early Pokemon, like Kanto region. It just felt like a new beginning starting. I don't think I'll watch the entire show. There's no way I would watch the entire show of this, but I think I'll give it a couple more episodes of respect because it's kind of nostalgic to see such a. It's not because I like Toei animation or anything. All they really do is One Piece, and you know. But I kind of like the nostalgia factor behind watching a show like this, where it's basically Ash Ketchum. but on a new journey and in a different universe. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I can say. The first episode was kind of it was good. The animation quality was nice. The artwork and character designs are all pretty well done. I don't really like the whole uh you know designs of the monsters themselves, but I think they're supposed to be absurd on purpose, which is kind of to their benefit because the whole show is trying to go for this absurd tone, which I like. So that's it. Next, this show is called Rail Romanesque, and it's essentially uh I had a gripe with this one right away because although I completed the first episode, I have no idea how long the episodes. It's only 5 minutes long. That's why I completed it. If this was 24 minutes, no way I would complete this. There's no universe where I would be watching 24 episodes of this show. But I was confused straight off the bat because they decided to start the show in the Showa era, which, in case you didn't know, is around the 1940s to 1989, I think. And to that extent, I was like, okay, this show could be a serious show with like, I mean, I wasn't from the picture itself. It's not going to be a serious show, but like, I feel like they could do some cool stuff with the Showa era, being a historical context. But no, the like 3 minutes passes and some girl pulls out like an iPhone. I'm like, okay, this is already over for me for the immersiveness of this era. Painful. And also the girls are yeah, props, credit where credit was is due. The girls are indeed uh, cutely designed and decently voice acted. But 5 minute episodes for a show that doesn't even recognize its own era after declaring it gave me an exposition dump, by the way, which I hate. In the first 1 minute, I was given an exposition dump of what era it is. What's the point of this? Why am I even watching this? And some useless junk that I don't care about, right? So already a terrible start. Not recommended, unfortunately. Next, I think this one was kind of let me try to remember. What did I write? Oh, this is this show. Yeah, according to my notes, I said it's the language and writing is childishly shallow. It's hard to watch, and the characters are ugly and generic. Yeah, I definitely agree with what I said here. All of them look like they were basic isekai protagonists. They start off the show with this opening scene with like a sword fight. It's not like it's like a training sword fight. It's not like an actual sword fight. It's just a mentor against his student, and the show is, I guess, about like some war. I don't care at all. Like that introduction was weak. Um, the characters are pretty much unlikable from the beginning, uh, and they're just generically designed. It's boring. The writing is trash. I wouldn't really recommend this one at all. I'm not even being harsh. Like, if you want to watch a show, go ahead. But I'm just telling you that I thought it was just there's no point for me to watch that show. Unfortunately, no point. Uh, Yasahime Princess Half Demon. Yeah, I dropped this in like 3 to 4 minutes. It's basically Inuyasha. I never watched Inuyasha, by the way. I don't think that's a sin at all. Inuyasha is kind of a trash show in my opinion. I haven't watched it, but I have some trusted opinions that I can rely on here, telling me that Inuyasha is poo poo. If you like Inuyasha, nothing against you, but I just have some decently valid opinions on it. And to that extent, this show is like sort of in the same world as Inuyasha, I guess. And it was like some Back to the Future stuff where, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like this girl is from the future, I guess, and she's like a half demon, sorta. Because they're in like some samurai times or whatever, and they're questioning her because she has like a textbook from modern times, and it's like I don't even know what's going on. Maybe it's some Inuyasha stuff, but I don't get it. I don't get it. Next, Onikaku Kawaii. So this show is about like I don't know, just some romance stuff, some boring romance, and to that extent, like in the first episode, he's about to get he's basically a scholar student that wants to get into the school of his choice, blah blah blah. No one cares. He sees this girl, which is the main girl, and he wants to go say hi to her, and then he almost get isekai protagonist by getting hit by a truck, but she gets hit by the truck instead, but she lives somehow and walks away scot free. And I was like, what is going on? Because the whole show up to that point, which is like 7 minutes into the show, mind you, was supposed to be a grounded narrative of him trying to achieve something great, and then all of a sudden it just decides, you know what? I think this will be a fantasy now. Yup. And the writing is just melodramatic and stupid. Like after she saves him, he goes on this monologue, like a Jimmy Kimmel monologue of like she walks into the sun or walks into the moon so elegantly. Like, okay, I think I wrote about that, and yeah, melodramatic for literally no reason. Spot on there. And I really don't understand uh the appeal, honestly. So that is a no no. That is a no no. Warlords of Sigradriva. I'm gonna be honest. Uh, I gotta check whatever I wrote on this. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember this. So, this show is essentially about like a war between like man versus machine, but like the first opening sequence is meant to be some groundbreaking, like awesome plane fight against like this giant dragon monster against like jet planes and its missiles and stupid stuff like that, and they managed to make something as cool sounding as that boring to watch. Like they cut so many times to the commander saying like, "Oh, Roger that. I don't care. Suck my balls." Yeah, like, and they don't even show the plane fight that extensively, and they just keep cutting to him saying stuff. No one cares. Literally, no one. I could count how many people in this room care right now, and there'd be zero people that cared about that plane fight because all they did was cut to someone talking instead of cutting to the actual fight happening. I know that's not in the budget for most studios, but this is A1 Pictures, and to that extent, they have some money. Like you can't even argue. They have money, so that's a no go. This one's probably not gonna go well with some shonen fanboys. Jujutsu Kaisen, watched it, didn't like it in like the first 5 minutes. I think I made it actually 7 minutes in. Props to Jujutsu Kaisen. It made it 7 minutes. What an astounding feat. I didn't like the show. Oh, actually, let me explain it. It's essentially uh demons, I guess, or you know, some like old teen it's like set with like teenagers and they like fight demon. I have no clue nor do I care about it because the characters are so ugly to look at. I don't want to see the rest of the show, unfortunately. The main dude, I mean, I don't want to harp on the character design so much that, it turns someone off, but it's just I have this vendetta against spiky-haired protagonists that I just can't get behind how idiotic it looks. And to that extent, uh, the hair choice for or the hair color choice of him is also not very good. I mean, you can obviously see it right here. It's like a orange pink. I don't really want to watch a show with a protagonist like that. I just can't take him seriously, unfortunately. Also, you got like Kakashi knockoff over here, and whatever. It's I mean the animation, don't get me wrong, the animation's fine. It's average. I wouldn't say it's above average. That's kind of calling it a little bit too close there to say it's above average. Definitely just borderline level. Next, another A1 Pictures show. Lord have mercy on this season. Hypnotic Hypnosis Mike. Vision Rap Battle. Rhyme Anima. Feels like I'm reviewing Sword Art Online over again. Character designs are barf worthy. And yeah. I mean, do I really gotta say anything else? Character designs are barf worthy. If I described it like that, I'm sure this show sucks. Uh, let me read whatever this says. Women. Oh, this is a show with the feminist empowered trope. I mean, it's not a trope, but it's just like a feminist empower. So this show is like made for, I guess, women. Not unfortunate, but it's interesting to see, I guess. So there's a bunch of good-looking men in this show, and the main oppressor is the female. It's like an authoritarian dystopia where the woman is in power, and these men are probably gonna have to do a hostile takeover. Like, yeah, men rule again, baby. Uh, and it's probably gonna be like that. Personally, not a fan of the a couple men doing what does that even sound like? Like, I'm not a fan of men being the protagonist anymore? No, I am. I'm just saying this is definitely veered towards a female audience, especially because the men are just super are designed in that way. Their like pectoral muscles are so big they can't see their own feet. That's it's that kind of thing. So if you're a man, I don't suggest you watch this show. Also, it's A1 Pictures, so I don't think it's worth your time, unfortunately. This is a spin-off, so I didn't watch that. Uh, Muno no Nanana. Oh, this is the one that tried to pull a Gakugarashi at the end. This is essentially knockoff My Hero Academia, but even worse and trashier character designs. And right away, I can tell you, if you can endure the full episode of this, you are your mind your will must be unbreakable because it's so uncanny. The resemblance to My Hero Academia, it's almost just unbearable to even watch at this point. You have the strong silent type, of course. You can't have a My Hero Academia without a Todoroki knockoff, right? You have the green-haired protagonist. What a surprise! You have the sadistic pink-haired girl. Wow, that's also a surprise. And you have the fire dude and the ice dude. Big surprise. Whoop. Okay, that's all you need to know to My Hero Academia knockoff, and it's not worth your time. That's about it. God, this season is actually it was actually unbearable. Iwa Kakeru sport climbing girls. It's rock climbing. It's rock climbing. Uh, you know, I watched like maybe 5 minutes, and right away it's just must. I mean, if you watch the one Doga Kobo show with the muscles, I don't think you'll be liking this one, even though that show was kind of funny. This show definitely not even in the range of being funny to any extent. It's about the right away in the opening like 3 minutes, you just see a bunch of club rooms, and then you just see a giant rock wall in the middle of the school. Like, okay, if that isn't bias, I don't know what is, but it just seems unrealistic to just have a giant wall of rock climbing material just for the rock climbing team. It's like massive. It's like the size of a three-story building. The character designs are pretty ugly and generic. I don't really think they're anything cute or anything of that sort. Uh, Not really worth your time. Unfortunate. I mean, fortunate. I'm not watching a rock climbing show, unfortunately. Next, by the grace of the gods, uh, I had no clue what happened in this first 3 minutes. You cannot explain to me what happens in these first 3 minutes without going insane, unfortunately. Like, um, it's just like caterpillars eating caterpillars, and then like slimes eating the caterpillars. Like, I had no clue what's happening, and then it just devolves into some weirdo thing. I have no clue. What did I even write? first 3 minutes is an exposition dump, that doesn't even help. Oh, what is even happening in these first few minutes? Like, how do you introduce a show like that? And also, the dude's eyes are way too big for his head. Like, look at that, dude. They're massive. They're bigger than his ears. That's a no. I mean, okay. This is another show that's like, uh, you know, obviously you can see the animation quality. It's meant to be comedic. It's not really something anime typically produces, but sometimes you get shows like these all the time. You get like a Pop Team Epic getting these weirdo art styles, but at least Pop Team Epic did it well. I don't think this one was funny to any extent, or creative for that matter. Uh, it's sort of like it tries to be Pop Team Epic, but just fails. Not miserably, but it's just I don't feel any need to watch the show, unfortunately. Like you could watch it if you wanted, but like unless you're really into, you know, these quote unquote indie types of anime productions, I see literally no need for you to veer off the main path of mainstream. This one was an etchy Otona nya koi no shikata ga wakarane. That's a mouthful. This one essentially has the main character, this girl, making it in the first 3 minutes, and that's about the summary of the show. It's supposed to be comedic, it's supposed to be romantic. None of those genres even remotely represented in this show. It's definitely I don't even know who this is intended for. This is intended for people who have literally never seen a woman ever. Like they've never even witnessed a woman on Earth alive. And to an extent, I know some of you will probably be interested by that description, but don't be interested. This is not a show worth your time. How many minutes is each episode? It doesn't even say. I'm pretty sure it was like 5 minutes per episode, but it's I had to look this up on YouTube. It's not even on any Kiss Anime or streaming site. I had to look this up on YouTube and get it fan subbed. It's just not even worth your time. And is there even a translation for this? Otakoi? Pretty sure there's. Isn't there a show by a similar name? Otakoi, I'm pretty sure. Next, Eternity, sweet love story. Wow, with the heart. Need the heart. What was this show? I forgot. It's probably another etchy romance. What did I? Uh, they get married in 3 minutes. Ugly character designs and boring. I mean, is there really anything else? It's 11 minutes per episode. It's basically the same thing as this thing, and I have no clue. I mean, I would put a question mark there, bro. Like, okay, next. Finally, a show that I actually completed an episode for. Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle is the Doga Kobo show, so you know I'm hopping on that train. Doga Kobo, great studio, making a lot of bangers recently. Um, and this show is about a princess that wants to sleep. That's about it. Um, the artwork really nice. And when I say nice, I mean really nice for Doga Kobo standards. Uh, it's nice. And the character design of the main girl, definitely the appeal. She looks, and she can be designed as sadistic. She can be designed as cutesy. It's what you expect of a studio of this caliber at this point. They've had years to perfect the cuteness of moe shows, right? And to that extent, I think that you could watch maybe 3 episodes of this before getting bored. It's really repetitive. That's my main gripe with it right now, and it really ends up in the same way every time. She eventually falls asleep, and then the guards come by, and she's like, uh, we'll come back tomorrow because she's asleep, and that's it. She's just a sleeping princess, and goes on little adventures to find better places to sleep or make herself more comfortable when she's sleeping while she's living in a demon castle because she's kidnapped. So, yeah, that's about it. If you like Rem's voice actor, she's voiced by Rem's voice actor, but I don't think it matters. Rem's voice actor doesn't even speak that much. Next, Bukaro Westgate Park. This show opens on a triumphant uh, police car chase, I should say. It's absurd. It's really comical. It's not meant to be comical. It's supposed to be a serious, like westernized car chase, but the facial animation, God, it's laughable. Super exaggerated for absolutely no reason, and the plot conceit is idiotic. Like there's this entire gang called the B Boys or something like that, the G Boys, and they're just like essentially like modern day mafia, but apparently they're just wide on a they're just appreciated on a wide scale. I don't know what to think. And then I just dropped this in like 7 minutes after that car chase was attributable to literally nothing, and then massive tone shift. It just cuts away to some random dude talking to his friend. Like, okay, dude, uh, yeah, over exaggerating in the wrong ways. Pretty decent description. Not worth your time. Kuma Bear. This is a Sword Art Online, but with a cute bear protagonist, or a cute girl in a bear pajamas. Um, so essentially, she's a girl who's on an Oculus Rift, and she's playing her favorite VR MMO. Of course, you can't be using the Oculus Rift, not playing your favorite VR MMO, and then she decides to dress up as a bear, I guess, and she it's idiotic. It's not even funny idiotic. It's just idiotic. Um, and yeah, it just makes no sense. Like all the characters look like they belong in the world they live in, and then you just have this stupidly absurd bear costume girl in a bear costume show up, and she's like, "Yep, I definitely belong in this world." It's like those guys who play like World of Warcraft and wear the stupidest clown armor. It's definitely like that. I don't even think I wrote anything. Yeah, contrasting tones doesn't really make sense. Uh, Next, Our Last Crusade or the Rise of a New World. I can't really tell about, or I know what the show's about, but I can't really tell you where it will go. Um, and not to say that I'm interested in seeing it where it will go. Like the first 3 minutes of this show is a prison break, and then after that prison break, he decides to get himself captured, and then he's back in the force, like a wanted criminal of the highest degree, right? Gets captured, and then he's enlisted. He's like, "I'm gonna need you." The guy, knockoff Seal from Evangelion, telling him, "I need you to get back in the saddle, Johnson." Like, not Johnson, but Michael from GTA 5. I need you to get back in the saddle, Michael. One last job. Uh, and I don't know what to say. Like, it's not a fun show. It's not a well produced show. I'll tell you that. Um, there's not really much to say. It's a giant exposition dump at the beginning and shameless booty shots. Shameless booty shots. Why am I not surprised? Next, this is the crown jewel of the season. Strike Witches Road to Berlin. So I actually had a laugh watching this. I watched this and this is just a shameless show. This is not even subtle. They the first 10 minutes of this show is just back to back booty shot, underwear, um, cute girls flying with jets for legs, and it's set in 1940s Berlin, and then aliens invade, and like, what is even going on? I can't tell you what's going on. So let me set the scene, right? It starts off serious, 1940s Berlin. And it just opens on this grand scale shot of like some nice artwork, I guess. And all of a sudden, the Fire Nation attacked, right? It's just aliens from another planet. And then they start destroying Earth and taking over the countries. And you know what? Humanity says, you know what? Screw you. I'm making a strike force of cute girls with jets for legs, and they're basically Iron Man with only the jet part for their legs. And all of a sudden, humanity in the 1940s, by the way, has access to lasers, force fields, and like super advanced alien technology. And I'm like, what is the point of even introducing it in Berlin in the first place if you're just gonna go against the time period? I never understand that. But who am I to talk? I'm one of the 597 users that even bothered to watch an episode or even log it. So, painful. This is David production. No, they do JoJo. No, I mean, what am I expecting? They do JoJo. Next, this is a Crunchyroll original. Could you believe it? Crunchyroll original. I am on my hands and knees for Crunchyroll to release High Guardian Spice. I am on my hands and knees to see that. But for now, we're stuck with Noblesse. And, show sucks. Characters are poo-poo, ugly design. It's super boring. What is this show even about? Let me remember. Let's see. Flash. Oh, right. I see. Um, Basically, it's flashing back in the first 5 minutes to tell its story, which is by far the worst possible way to tell a story. And you get like some dude who is knockoff Sabretooth from X-Men. He's got a bunch of like mutant powers, I guess. I have no clue what's even going on, but the point of the matter is that I hate flashbacks, especially when it's with expository dialogue dumps. And this show decided, you know what? Screw this guy. Expository dialogue dump with a flashback. My favorite. Insult to injury. Raziel awakens from his 100 or 820-year slumber and gains the special title of Noblesse, which is a pure-blooded noble. Okay. Don't care. Get out of my face. I think I watched like maybe 5 minutes. Here's a good show. This is my runner-up, most likely. Akudama Drive. This show, artistic genius. I mean, genius as in genius among the rest of these terrible shows that are being produced in this season. But props to the the art director, especially the color work, the rapid change in shot composition, and way we see the visuals is really nice. Really outstanding work. The characters themselves are all right. It's sort of like we were me and my friends were making fun of this show because it basically sets up for like a heist basically, and it's like finally brought you all together. Now I gotta get you back for one last heist. You know, uh, I don't know what to tell you. Like it's a good show for its visuals alone, but you can't really see or tell what's going on really in the first episode. In fact, the main character's name is Ordinary Person. I That probably is relevant later in the story, but I will definitely give this 3 episodes at least, at the minimum. It deserves it. For at least having the best visuals I've seen all season, last season, and the season before that. In one episode, by the way, one singular episode, it achieved that. So definitely worth at least, one episode watch. Even if you think that it's stupid and everything looks, or everyone in the show looks ugly, I don't think that you'll find the show to be ugly itself. I mean, there's a lot of CGI, but, the show is about, like, some war I don't care about, but who cares about the war when you have really amazing uh, visuals to look at? Next, Uraburu. This is essentially this actually reminded me of the art or the designs from Genshin Impact when I watched it. Uh, it's like a short. I think it's like 3 minutes long. Yeah, it's 3 minutes long. Nothing special. You don't really have to watch it. It's absurd, or, like really absurd, and to that extent, I think that it does a lot of things right in the way of teasing the audience to think of one thing and then, going the complete opposite direction, which I definitely was fooled by. They were trying to build up to something and I completely was fooled, and that was the point of the joke. And it was a big W for this show, I think. But I'm not really interested in watching a 3 minute short show. But for what it was good. Next, got a Adachi and Shimamura. This is essentially a Yuri show that tries to take itself too seriously, and it's poo poo because of it. Uh, Basically, they try to set up for this terrible ping pong metaphor, um, where like they do some ping pong symbolism, and I was making fun of the ping pong ball because they kept every time they were talking about a serious point, a ping pong ball would be dropping, and then it would be like what are they even talking about? Well, am I supposed to think of something here? Like what am I supposed to care? I have no clue what's going on, but I mean I had a clue what's going on. It's just that like, dude, is this supposed to be a romance, or am I supposed to be focused on what am I supposed to be focused on? Like these characters are uninteresting. Uh, Only one of them has a cute character design, and like there's no point to watching the show. There's literally no point. Like it takes itself way too seriously. The language and the way they say things is really melodramatic and not entertaining whatsoever, especially for a romance show where usually if you want to watch a romance show, the characters should at least be borderline entertaining and relatable, but they're not. They're just really not. God, it's like 2:30 a.m. and I'm yelling. Where was I? Uh, Anime Capybara song. Yeah, it's another one of these 1 minute short. Don't need to watch it. It was cute. Tell you that. It was cute. No less than that. Ah, is the order? No, wait. This is a spin-off. I didn't watch that. Izo Samurai. This is a gymnastics show. Hooray. Uh, right off the bat, we get a flashback exposition dump with a plot device who explains every element. It's so painful to watch. It's so painful. It's one of those old dudes that somehow predicts your entire future and what you're feeling at that exact moment, and then cuts a flashback exposition dump of what his past was or whatever. I don't care. I don't. The show is not worth your time. No, whatever. Moving on. I gotta start speedrunning. This is a pretty long video. Well, I mean, I don't want to speedrun to gloss over anything, but this show is fine. The day I became a god, I finished the full episode and I thought it was fine. The character designs are really cute. The main voice actor for this show is the guy who did Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul, which I hate his voice actor. But hearing him, kind of brought me back to that time I watched it. It wasn't terrible. His work isn't terrible. I just think that his voice just sounds like he swallowed a bug or something, and it's just too high pitched for me. But aside from that, good first episode. The shots and the color work is really nice. especially in the last sequence where they do a really beautiful landscape shot with the girl in the picture. And it's really a joy to look at. I don't know if I'd recommend the show. I think I might watch maybe one or two more episodes, and if it makes it past the screening of that, then bada bing, bada boom, I'm watching the rest of the show. But whatever. Wait, I didn't even mark this. Oh yeah, the heck, it's not showing up. Whatever. Uh, I Setsu opening act. No, all I gotta say. Their eyes are too big for their heads. Look at that, dude. They're just way too big. This is just like they look like they're 3 years old. Not to say like their character designs are like super ugly, but they just look idiotic. It's not even supposed to be taken for absurdity. They just look idiotic and they look stupid. I don't know how clear I can get with that type of sense. Not worth your time. Variety the Patriot. I like the show. Um, let's I actually just finished watching like maybe right before this. And I was actually gonna drop it in the first like 5 minutes when it was super boring. And it was, an exposition dump, but I powered through it and something actually did happen. The elements of that it does well are definitely entertainment factor. I was entertained by this show. The characters are a bit out of place in their current time period. I think they look a little bit too anime centric for them to be in a setting of this sort, but it's fine for what it is. Um, I think that. Oh, sorry, I didn't explain what the show is. It's a mystery thriller. Like it's more in the leagues of Death Note, I think. Except that this guy likes to explain his entire plan beforehand or whatever, which is all right, I suppose. And for what it is, it's an entertaining show. I think it's not it the horror elements are definitely bad. They're pretty silly and they don't really hit as well as they could because there are horror elements. At least they try to. And it's just taken for childish horror. I think I wrote about it in my notes that it's cheesy, but at least the characters and atmosphere are entertaining, and that's all you need. Sorry, um, this guy Moriarty is supposed to be the direct counter to Sherlock Holmes. I suppose that's what they said. I have no idea the real identity of Moriarty, or if this has any truth to it. But apparently, he's supposed to be the intellectual equal to Sherlock Holmes, according to the show. If that means anything to you, of course. Dropout Idol Fruit Tart. Uh, I watched like 7 minutes. Painful. And it's not an idol show without doing the character dump at the beginning of the show, where you have to introduce every single character. But at least it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was boring to watch the character dump compared to like Love Live, where they have to like individually name every character and be idiotic and boring. This show actually like it's not good to look at. Let's just say that it's not good to look at. The character, some of the character designs are really ugly. The artwork is also ugly. They have this dot pattern in the background for no reason. It's like a bunch of dots for literally no reason. And yeah, it's an idol show. What am I expecting? We got a show about actors. This is a show for women where you get a bunch of hot boys and they're actors. Not a show for me. Um, you know, not say anything against shows of these natures, but this is directed towards women, and not specifically for anything of my calibers. And I'm a cute girls doing cute things show type of guy. No, I'm not into cute boys doing cute things, especially if most of the boys' character designs are super centric around women's tastes. You know, like I said earlier, their pectoral muscles are so big they can't even see their own feet, or they're like their own. A lot of the characters in this show are blatantly homosexual on purpose, and you know, I have nothing against that. I'm just saying that like I hate hearing the exaggerated voices of anime or voice actors who try to do it, and they're obviously not homosexual, and it just comes off the wrong way, and I don't want to watch it. So you know, if you want to watch it, sure, but not me. Next, this show is fine. I think it's meant to be a type of horror show, and to that extent, the animation, obviously, you can see from these pictures, isn't top quality. But you know, even despite the quality being not there, it still manages to at least be ominous and uncanny in nature. You get a lot of elements that really help to build atmosphere towards it being a terrifying show. And from the first episode, which was only 3 minutes, I felt fulfilled as a viewer. I felt fulfilled that I would even watch another episode, and I never watch more episodes of like a 3 minute short like this. Like, I rarely do that. So, props to this show. I definitely give it props for being able to create such a thick, uncanny nature and like unnerving tone in its first. It's in only 3 minutes. Next, Magatsu War Height. Show sucks. It's basically, I guess, I don't even know how to tell you what this show is. It's like another heist show, I guess, where there's a bunch of people trying to get the grail, like the holy grail or whatever. I don't even know, or do I care? Like, I was super bored in the first 5 minutes. Characters generic. You get your basic black-haired protagonist who has a really girly voice or whatever. You know, blah blah blah. It's about some I don't care. Like, I just don't care. The show wasn't good at all. Oh, notes. They poured way too much effort into the artwork, and the animation is abysmal. But the characters look terrible as well. Yep. They look, the artwork is great, I gotta say. But the characters themselves and the animation is F tier. One last show. Gogeza de Anodomita. Just butchered that. This show was essentially two dudes begging to see her boobs. That's it. That was the episode that I watched. They were on their hands and knees, and the entire duration of this 3 minutes was them begging, and then she does it. It's painful. It's so much pain and sorrow. Overall thoughts. Alright season. Obviously, I had to comb through actual hell to even find some of these shows that I would even care watching about. It's always super painful to even. Oh, it's so painful. But you know, at the end of the day, I can say I'm one of the few people that watches every single show of the new seasons, and that my opinion is more valid than yours because you didn't watch every show of the new season, did you? So if you say a season sucks, I can say, well, did you watch every show in that new season? No? then where does your opinion even have validity? Nowhere. I watched every show. Bada bing, bada boom. I don't care.